crew. Welcome to Washington Dulles. Today we're going to be taking the FlyJ Sim 8Q400 up to Billy Bishop, Toronto City. The Toronto City Airport, the longest runway is only 4,000 feet, so it should make for a very interesting and challenging approach. So stay tuned. Hope you follow along and enjoy the flight with us today. Again, we're looking for a flight time of about an hour and 30 minutes, and we'll be departing at 10:50 local time. Welcome to the flight deck today. I'll preface this flight with I typically have problems starting this from cold and dark, so I'll get to a certain point, and I believe the power levers or the prop condition levers, something has to be in a position that I can't quite get. So I might need to map a button or something to the keyboard to figure this out. So what normally happens is we'll kind of get it started here from a cold and dark state to where it'll get warm, and I'll get the APU started. And then it's usually right when I go from APU to engine start is where I have the issue. So if that occurs, I'll go ahead and do the drop down kind of cheat from the, I don't know, the taskbar or whatever up here. And we'll go ahead, skip through the start. I'll just go with the get the engines running, and then we'll kind of go back and reconfigure everything for taxis. So anyway, until I figure that out, or if one of you knows, I've been able to start the aircraft once from cold and dark. So again, I'm pretty sure it's just a configuration I need to map to the keyboard or something. We'll go through here. I believe the power levers have to come up to a flight idle or something. Here you can see I'm advancing and retarding them. So we'll see when we get through here. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started here with the flow and see. So we'll go ahead and get our batteries on here. External powers. Let's see, bus ties, engine intakes. Those come open. Pitot static. We don't need that right now. Wipers. Let's see what our time is here. It's 10:40. Our flight departure is 10:50. So we might kind of roll through this, or I may actually have to pause it, program the FMC because I haven't done that yet, and then we'll go from there. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pause it right here. I don't want to start the APU while I'm programming the FMC, and then we'll kind of come back to this flow here. Okay, everyone. So I've loaded up. This aircraft uses the default X-plane. So I've loaded up. We're flying from Dulles to Billy Bishop, Toronto City. We're going to be Porter 720 today. Our routing is going to be direct Jerez or Jerez. J220 to SFK, direct, probably Buffalo, and then to Ling. And then I don't think we actually have a RNAV arrival. The SimBrief has us arriving 2-4, which actually is the shorter of the two runways at Toronto City. I think that one is actually around 3,500, 3,000 feet, so it's actually pretty short. So we'll see when we get there. There's an ILS on 8 and 26, so we'll see as we get there how it looks. So we may go ahead and take the visual. Again, that was kind of the point of taking this particular trip, was just to try out a new airport that I hadn't been to and fly this plane. So we'll go ahead and close that, and you'll notice down here the FMC is blank. You have to configure a button on either a joystick, which is what I've done, or a controller to actually get your FMC here to pop up. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. We'll press on with this here. So we have some lighting up. That's okay. Really need this right now. Start our APU. You get the APU open light here. Start. We'll get that on. You can hear it firing up back there. Get our generator on. Bleeds. I don't know why that is when I hit bleed here. I don't know if this is engine bleeds. These two switches are paired, so we'll go ahead and go back here. Just leave that one on. The packs right now are in auto. That's manual and off. They're kind of hard to tell there. Get those temperatures up. Do seat belts, smoking, emergency lights. We're going to arm that. And I forgot to do our wing lights and I guess the collision lights there. That's our position. That's what we want. Alright, so we'll do that, and our temperatures, so our duct pressure is coming up. That looks pretty good so far. Okay, we're back here. I'm gonna kind of wing it here. I did set our course and our heading bug to our runway heading, which we're going to be departing 30 here. I have already configured the aircraft. This is according to my sim brief. We're within a couple pounds here. Our fuel is our fuel on board is supposed to be 6,800. That included diversion, contingency, fuel, all that. So we'll see how that does. I've been playing with the fuel model on SimBrief to try and get it a little better optimized. So we'll see how this one shakes out. Hopefully we don't end up running into fuel issues. So we're loaded according to that. And then we'll go ahead and see, we'll close the door. Now our door is closed out here. You can see there. And I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and call a better pushback. Get them out here. I don't know which would be the safer way to go here. Probably. Okay, well, we'll just, you know what, we'll do this.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
So, yeah, hopefully they don't actually push us through the grass, but I probably should have changed that and had them go like this and then go like this. I've never done such a long pushback from an area like this, so we'll take a look, see how it works. Okay, so we're back here in the flight deck. I'm just getting ready to push back. So here's our flight plan here. So here's the Jerez J220 SFK. Speed's off here. I don't know. We'll probably do 280, let's say. I think we're going to be at 24,000. Oops. So anyway, there's an hour and 20. So we'll go ahead, get rid of this, get our pushback started, and be on our way.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
And if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you'll notice I've got two up at this point with the 757 and a 737. And the better pushback actually changes the pushback vehicle based on it. So this Dash 8 Q400 that we're in here, it gets a little smaller one. So pretty cool. Nice little touch they did with it.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
All right, my guy, go ahead and do that.
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Okay, I think we'll do that. set our altitude here to 24,000. This you gotta click, hold, and drag.
Starting push back, and you may start engines.
Okay, so here's where I have run into the problem. So we do have our bleed for the APU on. If we click over here, then that doesn't work. So to ignition normal, and then I'm gonna click start. Move 2 up to start here as well. That's a hot start. Alright, let's try that again. See, I can't grab these.
Washington Dulles
Fuel
INTL
levers.
information Kilo 1500 Zulu weather. Wind 330 at 9, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 3,200 scattered, 25,000 broken.
Okay, I don't want to listen to that right now. Let's see if I can. See, and I'm moving my throttles right now, so you can see they're not moving, and I don't know how to move these, so let's go ahead and try it one more. Let's try it one more time here. You can hear it starting, our ITT's coming up, that's fine. See, and then it goes way high, our prop's not even turning, so. Okay, here I'm just gonna do the cheat and we'll ready the flight deck. Can't remember where this is. Oh, here we go.
Hey. Quit blinding me with your landing lights. Turn them off.
I don't know what that guy's talking about. How do our lights get on? Okay, so we're gear down. Our spoilers are in taxi. I think we're good here. I'm actually going to decrease our range here. Again, this one uses the default for your MFD there. I think we're running. Also, another thing with this particular airframe is the throttle. So if I bring it back to 0 on my joystick, it actually goes into beta, and it'll start like right there. It starts reversing. So I've kind of just got to work it back real slow. Looks like we're in park. Let me take a look at what's going on out here. Okay, what did he want from me? Alright, so I'm not quite sure where we're at here. Not sure how to get hold of him either. And so there the brakes are on. Let's just see if I can get rid of him.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Is this where we wanted to go? Maybe he stopped pushing us. Did we back into something? Nope. Alright, well, we'll try and just make a right turn out of here and head that way. Okay, so you can see here we've got taxiway Juliet right over here to our right. So we'll go out Juliet, I guess, swing back around Delta, cross Delta, and then we'll go left probably on what is that, Zulu maybe, and then head all the way down to 30. We could do easily a taxiway Yankee or Zulu departure on 30. That'll give us plenty of room. So that's kind of what we'll do. I won't bore you guys with all that. We'll pick you up as we get a little closer. Unfortunately, this wasn't as smooth as I thought, and we're already kind of a little bit behind here. I had a blocks off time of 10:55, and it's 11:03. So I will pick you guys up as we get a little bit closer, and hopefully the rest of this goes a little smooth. So if you guys hadn't noticed by now, I actually missed my turn, what I was talking about there on the original taxi route. So we're heading down to Echo now, so we went a little bit too far. But that's all right. I screwed it up and didn't have the chart up. And I don't keep the chart up because it does have my personal information until I can figure out how to change that and then maybe figure out how to overlay it better. I'd just rather keep it up very minimal. So anyway, enjoy the rest of the taxi. We'll pick you up before our departure. Okay, so you joined me here. We're holding short of runway 30 on Zulu, getting ready for our departure here. So we'll imagine that's been done. We'll get all of our lights on here. Just white anti-collision. Let's see. Tail logo. Let's see what else I miss here. Smoking's armed. Alright, I'm sure I'm missing something here, so but we'll go ahead and go with that. Flaps we have down, props to high RPM, and yeah, we'll get ready to go. Now, actually I'll jot down brake release time, or takeoff time there of 11:13. The other interesting thing with this aircraft, especially if you're used to flying the Boeings or Airbuses, is the autopilot function is completely different. So I screw this up a lot. It'd probably be
approaching 30.
This aircraft probably be a lot easier for people coming out of I don't know, like some Pilatus, possibly King Airs, those kind of aircraft, just in the way it works. So
on runway 30.
We'll get off the ground here and see how it goes.
Approaching 01 center.
I don't remember what our departure was out of here. I forgot to look at it. Now that I think about it. So what I'm gonna do is kind of hold the runway heading here for a little bit. And then we'll swing around to the right and then reconnect with our flight plan we've got programmed in the FMC. So just kind of do that. Got my lapse time there again. Pretty bad about that. Probably violating all kinds of airspace restrictions right now, honestly. Get our autopilot on here. Swinging around to heading. Do 210 on the speed there. Now I've got to see if I can find where our... There we were. Okay. So I'm going to adjust our heading to intercept the magenta line here. And then once we get over there, we'll flip it over to the nav and let it handle its thing. Check out what camera modes I got set here. This aircraft does not have a highly detailed interior. It does have an interior though. Not sure if this one was ported over from X-Plane 10 or not, but it's a fun flying airplane. It's nice to do something a little different if you're used to the big stuff, which is what I spend a lot of my time in. So just trying to interface with the autopilot. I'd say the biggest annoyance of it is having that default FMC. So if you're really proficient with that, you'll probably just fine with it and enjoy it. But the handling characteristics of this are really nice, enjoyable. It's a fun plane to fly. As turboprops go, it's fast. So it's nice to have something a little different. I've thought about maybe getting an ATR. I forget who makes that, but I kind of enjoy having at most of my hangar the Boeings. If you guys have seen more on the channel, we've had a couple there. My friend, the other part of Flight Brothers, he also has mostly Boeing stuff as well. So I would like to get an Airbus video up on here, the Flight Factor A320 Pro. However, I'm really terrible at how to program it and fly it. So if I do, we'll probably all have a really good laugh at how terrible that goes. But maybe we'll do that here soon, just to get another airplane from the hangar up. I'm going to click this over to nav. And let's see, it's tracking a VOR. So where's my source? I need this to FMC? FMS? Okay, why is that not working? Alright, let's figure this out here. FMS 1 is the source. It's kind of around here. Is that one changing? Okay, it's FMS 2. So FMS 1 is my source. change it. Actually, you know what? While I'm thinking about this, I'll start pulling the props back. I don't know if you climb at 900 on these and then cruise at 850 or what. So start pulling the throttle back. Again, this whole turbo prop flying is pretty new.
Caution.
No, that's not what I wanted. Man, why won't that work? Oh wait, nav source. What's this? Ah, here we go. Wait, let's see. There. There we go. LNAV. Perfect. That's what I needed to do. Cool. I'll clean up our heading bug here. I have the fuel up here, and you can change what display these are done over here. I usually leave the FOs as different. It's something I can look at since I'm flying offline. But you can hit the electrical system, engine.
Altimeter setting.
So I'll just leave it on fuel. How's our wind here? Pretty good one, looks like 30 knots. I was seeing about 40 to 45 on the forecast at flight level 240, I believe. So you can still see we still have a pretty good ground speed there and true airspeed 276. So this is a very fast airplane. So we just crossed the Jerez, and according to SimBrief, I was looking for about 5,100 pounds remaining. We're at 5,900, so that's really good. We're ahead of that. My fuel on board for the flight, including contingencies and all that, was 6,800. I actually loaded 6,895. It's easier to kind of just go with that than adjust each pound. I don't think the interface on this over here has a way for you to just enter it in. You click on this and it kind of moves in, I think 10 or 100-pound increments. I don't remember now. But anyway, that is that. We're nearing our cruise altitude here. I just figured I'd pop this up here. I know we've talked about the Navigraph and charts and stuff, so we're getting ready to make a turn here at SFK. As you can see over on the nav screen, you know, it's coming right up. And then we're about to make our turn here as we head out towards Buffalo. And then this will be our final airway path. Toronto airspace is really busy, so not quite sure how we're going to duck in under this. The flight plan has me arriving 2-4, which, as I mentioned, that's the shorter runway. There we go, we're just crossing now. 2-6 is instrumented, and it actually has an approach. Now this aircraft, since it has the default FMS, I don't know that it has a vertical mode. So, or if it has, I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. So I'm gonna have to try and punch in here and see if I can figure it out. If not, probably have to do some calculations to figure out how to get crossing altitudes and such. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that briefly, guys and gals. And that's one of the other quirks, I guess, with this aircraft is you actually do have to fly it and manage it more. So I think I stopped shortly before we hit top of climb, but I've pulled the prop levers back to 850 RPM. So we're just kind of cruising along here. Our true airspeed's 340. We were showing about 313 on our flight plan, so we might get there a little bit before our hour-and-a-half flight time. Here at the Ukpak, at or below 7,000, so that's good. Murrum, and then I have there's actually a speed restriction on the ILS 26 at Vipri or Viper, and that one's a 200. Sorry, that's an Alger, which is an intercept for a Vipri, which isn't on this chart. So all that checks out. So we're going to go ahead and shoot the ILS 26 for this approach, and this is all loaded. So hopefully that'll get us kind of in the neck of the woods. We'll see when we get there. It should be visual, so I might go ahead and land the shorter runway anyway, just to try it out. Again, this is just kind of a cool airport to go into. I think it was actually featured in either Airports or Airliner World magazine a couple months ago. I never paid any attention to it, but when this flight popped up on here, I said, hey, that sounds pretty cool. So I figured we'll check it out. Be sure to comment below. We're also on Instagram, Twitter. You can contact us via Gmail. Thinking of maybe doing some interesting flights to different airports. Tegucigalpa comes to mind. We have pictures from Princess Juliana, but we haven't done a video flight there, so perhaps that might be. But please email us, flightbrosft@gmail.com, flight BROSFT, Foxtrot Tango @gmail.com. Send us an email there if you've got any ideas, things you'd like to see, preferably constructive feedback on the channel, whether it's good or bad. We'd like to find the constructive. We are also on Instagram, and you can reach us there. We have several pictures up there, and we are Flight FT 2019. That's a Flight FT 2019. And the FT, that was actually for Flying Tigers, which was our virtual airline that 2 days ago Flight Brothers found closed up, so or they're shutting down at the end of this month. So unfortunately, they'd been in the game for 15, almost 20 years, I think. So that was kind of surprising to us. So that's why FT on our channel, on the Instagram, and also on the Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can follow us. We have Twitter and our Instagram linked, so you can find us either way. We are Flight Bros FT on Twitter as well, but that tag is @FlightFT. And again, that FT was for Flying Tigers. So, leave us, shoot us an email with ideas. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. Let us know what you'd like to see, and hopefully we can keep you guys coming back. So far, at the time of me doing this flight, we have a little bit of a SimCoders reality expansion pack for the 172. That's non-flying. That's kind of an overview. It was the first video just to kind of try and get the hang of things. We have a 757-200 by Flight Factor. That is a Delta flight where we go from Phoenix, Sky Harbor to JFK.
Toronto City Centre information MiG. 1600 Zulu weather. Wind 240 at 12, visibility 9. Sky conditions 3500 overcast, temperature 0, dew point -3. Altimeter 3007. Arriving runway 26, departing runway 26. Advise on initial contact, you have MiG.
Alright, I've just clicked it over to IAS mode, so I'm going to pull the power back and I'm going to drop and get down to 7,000. So just kind of monitor power a little bit. See here we got a 1,700 feet a minute descent, so that's pretty good. And we're below 10,000, so we're keeping our 250. We have a further speed restriction up ahead, but we'll go ahead and maintain this for the time being. Get our lights on. Up here in a minute. Ding those anyway. Below 10? Yeah, we're below 10. Oh, we'll get our lights on. And if we zoom in here, so there's UK PAG, so we need 7 by there. Murrum, 5,000. Go ahead and pull the throttle back a little more here. Get the nose pitch down, make sure we get that. I think we're probably going to bust that actually. Probably should have kept the throttle pinned back and let that one sink down. Seven, and then we're going to have 5. Again, with this one, you don't have the automated, or I can't get the VNAV. I don't want to say I can't get the VNAV to function. I don't know how to get the VNAV to function properly, so I don't know if that's the aircraft, my knowledge, or the FMS itself. But in either case, you know, it doesn't have that automated descent path, so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring our speed back here. And then we want to get down to 5. This one, so we'll keep the throttle fully retarded here. We'll just descend at a rate that keeps us from building too much speed. 5,000. Murrum's 5,000. Okay, yes, there we go. $1,000 to go there. We are definitely in the clouds here. Alright, so we're at 5,000. Our next one's going to be about 2,500 at Vipri, which is to intercept the ILS. Now this has an offset localizer, and I just busted my altitude right there. And tell you what, ice detected, huh? Let's see. Cool, I've actually never had the ice detected before, so see how that goes. Alright, so my speed is a little too much there. Okay, so Vipri 2,500. See, man, you just really got to manage this airplane, which is kind of cool, but when you don't fly it enough to be familiar with it, it kind of become overwhelming pretty quick. So let's go down to 2,500. Altitude select. Vertical speed maybe. And we also need to kick these bad boys up. Actually, maybe they're, I don't know, we'll put them at max. I know you would use max RPM for takeoff and landing, but pick up ATIS again and see what that biz is.
Toronto City Center information Mike. 1600 Zulu weather. Wind 240 at 12, visibility 9. Sky conditions 3500 overcast.
So, visibility 9, so we should pop out of the clouds here and we'll have visual on it. There we can, we're just getting below it right there. So we are direct Alger right now. And we have the Dogleg coming up here for runway 26. We have to cross Vipri at or above 2,500. On the actual ILS approach, it's 2,000 feet. So once crossing Alger, we'll probably go and drop down to 2,500. Slower speed here a little bit, and there's the turn. Altitude down there. LNAV's still tracking, so that's okay. Oh, that looks good. Except we're not descending. Dang it. Again, this is where the unfamiliarity with this one comes back and bites me a little. Should be popping out of the clouds here soon, I would imagine. There we go. And our airport should be right over here to the left somewhere. Altitude didn't arrest the descent there. Stay right here. Okay, so we have lights on, taxi on, tail logo. Turn off our ice here. Here's our turn to final. Once we get straightened out, we'll go ahead and start configuring. We actually don't have too long to go. Get that first notch of flaps out there. And there's our runway. Gear out.
Caution.
Kick the autopilot off here. Have an ice detected, so let's deal with that here. Still have reds on the pappies, so descending a little. I'll go ahead and hold that altitude off. Alright, so gear is down, still have more flaps to go, power, or props are high. Alright everyone, if you've astutely noticed the replay mode going on, it's because I stopped the recording when I made a turn to final on accident, and I tried to re-record it and it didn't work very well, so it didn't start the recording again. So I'm gonna go ahead and embarrass myself here for the sake of getting this video done. When I originally recorded the flight, I had a similar issue as well. So this is actually several days, actually almost a week after I shot the original flight. I'm trying to edit it to get it produced and to publish it. And what I discovered was I had nothing from basically the turn to final all the way in. So I'm going to kind of narrate this one while we're watching it back in replay mode. So I was really fighting it here. Oddly enough, I made a joke, which you guys will see coming up, about the landing. The landing during that original flight on the first day wasn't that bad. What you're going to see here is how not to do it. So if you guys stay tuned here, you're gonna see we're probably gonna need a lot of help getting off the airplane. Matter of fact, we might need a new airplane when we're done with it. The wind was really pushing me more than what I thought it was. Hopefully the weather kind of matched up with the original one. I did try and pull that data from looking back at my other the original flight weather on that day. But for some reason, this wind actually seemed to be fighting me a lot more. So I don't know if maybe I had the wind level different in altitude as opposed to actually the speed and direction maybe at the surface. So I was really fighting this with the flaps were really wanting to push me back up. It was really ballooning. So perhaps I was doing a pretty bad job with the speed control. I'm not sure, but just kind of enjoy this landing here and the repairs required afterward. So a couple things about that one. It would have made a Navy pilot proud. It probably would make Bombardier or whoever proud because we'd have to buy a new one of these, and we would probably lose the business of about 70 plus people. I really want to make sure this is recording, so I'm just going to concentrate on the driving here because I really don't want to have to shoot. I'd like to reshoot that approach since the original one was better, but I kind of want to get this done for you guys. So we'll come up here, set the brake. I don't think this was the original gate that I pulled into. So what you'll see coming up, I think it was the gate over here to my left. But we'll get it pulled up here, get it shut down, and then run through everything. Okay, so brakes on, we'll go spoilers to taxi there, flaps, get those retracted, lights can come off, de-ice off, ref speeds, that can come off. Where are we at? APU, we need to get that online. So I do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to not kill everybody on the approach next time or on the landing. Like I said, the first landing, it looked a little bit rough because of this head shake plug-in. The landing rate was actually pretty good on that one. It was like negative, I don't know if it was 40 feet a minute or something. This one was probably closer to 4,000 feet a minute, so it was quite bone jarring. Okay, so we have all that online. Go ahead and, why do we have two prop levers? That's interesting. Flaps up, fuel 0. Okay. Position light, we'll leave that on. Tail and logo, wing lights. Off. Off, off, off. Alright, people, you can get off the plane. Turn packs off. This aircraft seems to beep almost every time a switch is not in some normal position, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but it does get a tad bit annoying sometimes. We'll go ahead and shut this down. Earlier in this video, I looked, or I made the statement that I believe that this was a port over from X-Plane, an earlier version, and in fact it was. I looked through the manual that comes with it, and I think it was for like 10.25 or something after that. So with the project FlyJSim is currently working on, I think I would expect, since it's going to be for the newer version, that everything inside will probably be a lot sharper. So anyway, we'll leave you with that for now. We'll mix in the summary, which includes all the original data, the time, and flight information. Well, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today on our Porter Flight 720 from Dulles to Billy Bishop, Toronto City. Just to summarize our flight, our sim brief predicted 3,042 pounds of fuel used. We actually used 3,030, so very, very close today. We had a scheduled departure time of 10:50. We actually departed at 10:55, so about 5 minutes late there. Our arrival time was 12:20, and it looks like we got here at 12:51, so not sure where that discrepancy is, because when I looked, our calculated block time was an hour and 35 minutes, and our actual flight time was an hour and 36 minutes with a block of 1:54. So some slight variations there, but all in all, a pretty interesting flight. In fact, the takeoff was, hand takeoff, not really great there. We did eventually get it back onto the FMS, so kind of learned there. The arrival, there was a lot going on the arrival. Overshot the last one there as we were coming around to final, but with the nav waypoints, one sending me kind of way out of the way, it was kind of a disaster, from the descent. So that's one of those things. It happens, and it was a chain of events. One got a little worse. We landed, and it felt a lot worse than it said. According to the app, it was negative 46 feet a minute at actual touchdown, as opposed to it looked and probably felt like a carrier impact, and probably need some spinal surgery to walk off the plane. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed the flight. Hope you come back again soon. Again, this was the Fly J Sim -8 Q400, and we did Porter Airlines Flight 720 from Dulles to Billy Bishop, Toronto City. We'd like to remind you to plan the flight and fly the plan, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.